If capitalism makes people rich, why don't they teach it? Good evening, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Silver Dad Knows. Remember, always live with no edits. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button now, as you're going to like what I'm about to say. So right here, folks, two awesome pieces. I have a 1896 Silver Morgan, and then, of course, to my right, I have a commemorative round honoring Donald Trump. So to begin, I do want to show off this 1896 Silver Morgan. The Morgan dollars are absolutely some of my favorite pieces to always be collecting. Matter of fact, in real time, I am in the process of selling about 20 of them. So they are highly sought after, and I'm always selling them on a month-to-month basis. These iconic American classics were minted from 1878 to 1921 and designed by George T. Morgan. That's where the name comes from. The Morgan silver dollar is a coin that is prized by so many collectors. These pieces of U.S. currency were first introduced towards the end of the 1800s and were almost an immediate hit when released. The reason for their extreme popularity was due to the fact that the design of the Morgan was far superior to the designs of previous silver dollar editions. And if you notice, pieces prior to this era, they're a lot more dull, not as much detail put into them. And I mean, it shows in the time where humanity was. So of course, they did not have the means to design coins at such a level as these Morgan dollars. For collectors, the fact that these coins are so old is worrisome because as time moves forward, the number of these pieces remaining on the market are constantly being diminished. Mintage on these 1896 Morgan silver dollars climbed to nearly 10 million coins in 1896. A Morgan dollar from 1896 in circulated condition like this piece is worth between $37 to $63. However, on the open market, 1896 silver dollars in pristine uncirculated condition sell for as much as $19,000. And one recently sold literally a few days ago. You can look it up, and that one sold for $18,000 and like $700, so nearly $19,000. Real quick, folks, I do want to give clarity to one of my favorite authors, and I want to mention this quote because it actually has a lot of reference to silver. So Mark Twain, one of my favorite philosophers, favorite authors, this is something that they said. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Silver's reflective properties and conductive properties make it absolutely a necessary component of solar energy. That's why China has been so fascinated with silver lately. Silver is also a germicide, and there have been rapid increases in utilization in water and wastewater treatment, in sanitation, and in medical. If you want to succeed, you must have a source of wealth outside domestic currencies, which will eventually inflate away. You know, aside from silver, the most valuable thing a parent can give their child is not money nor material possessions, but physical books and personal advice that will transcend them for generations. Active parents are the ones making tomorrow a better world, because public schools, they're proving to be a disaster. Remember, Poor Dad was a PhD. He went to Stanford. Very smart man, academically at least. In the real world, one learns from falling down. One becomes more powerful through failure. At this point, I wouldn't recommend anyone go to college because the academic system is broken and has been broken. It's horrifying what children are being taught now. Gender identity and critical race theory. How is that going to put money in their pocket? Academics are what's killing this nation, and they're not only out to destroy capitalism, they want us all to be communists. Poor Dad was an academic. Poor Dad was a Marxist. Poor Dad was poor. Marxist hate rich people because they never figured out the game of money. And the best way to beat Marxism is to become a capitalist. If you truly want to be rich, you must unlearn all the garbage this system has told you. It's incredibly difficult to become a capitalist when you've been taught to be a Marxist. Most people are broke because they live broken paths. We all have a choice to decide whose advice we're going to take. To take advice from those who stack on printed paper, or to take advice from those who purchase and hold real assets. To take advice from those who believe in God, or to take advice from those who want to be God. Our decisions and answers are now at our fingertips. Literally, all the information in the world is out there for us to become affluent individuals. Unfortunately, many people are choosing TikTok and other media waste to spend their time. If capitalism makes people rich, why don't they teach it? Why are they teaching Marxism instead? To keep you poor and oppressed. The ruling class treats us like idiots because most of our citizens, they act and live like idiots, never planning for their future, never saving accordingly, never striving to be the best them they can be. The average U.S. consumer cannot recover from here because they are struggling just to feed themselves while ongoing policies are becoming inflationary. How can one recover when we have record debt on auto loans, student loans, and credit cards? 30% of Americans are behind on at least one bill right now. We're walking into a consolidation of wealth unlike anything we've ever seen before, and that is why I am not retreating from the investment in precious metals, from my investment in cryptocurrencies, because I do see the writing on the wall, and I see how much it's going to wash people away, especially those who weren't prepared, which is going to be the majority. So yes, right here, Donald Trump Silver Round. The 45th president of the United States, of course, Donald J. Trump. These come from the Golden State Mint, and these rounds are crafted with .999 fine silver. This collectible captures the essence of Trump's charisma with remarkable detail. Whether you're a precious metals collector or a Donald Trump supporter, this piece is unique as it has significant historical value. On the verse, which we're looking at right now, we have a portrait of Donald J. Trump. And then you go to the reverse, which I really love the reverse. We have an eagle holding the American flag and one talon while standing on a pillar. Above the eagle are the words honor, courage, integrity, and perseverance. So yes, very inspiring round. And like I said, whether you hate this guy, whether you love this guy, you can always make profit selling these pieces. There's always collectors looking for them, always wanting to get their hands on them. And I've noticed that pieces that had been originally released back in 2017, 2018, they have double, triple, quadrupled in price. A lot of them you can't even find anymore. And that's what's happening to more of the modern coins that had been made back in 2020, back in 2021, because they have still been making Trump coins even though he hasn't been president. So it's very interesting what's taking place. And real quick, folks, just to end this evening, I do want to give a quick shout out to my always loyal subscriber. I shouted him out yesterday, and man, he just says so many remarkable things. I want to shout him out one more time. And we actually found out his age. So I'm not going to say everything that they said last night on the comment, but just an important point. But here we go. Veritas Files is in their 40s. I knew he was very wise. I knew he was very intelligent. So here we go. Speaking of eagles, there is something important to keep in mind. If you ever need to sell your metals back, rather than to directly transact in them, is that there are no IRS reporting requirements for Morgan and Peace dollars, as well as any sovereign minted coins, eagles, maples, Philharmonics, Libertads, etc. In other words, you can sell back as many of those coins as you like without anyone having to fill out any forms for the IRS. Keep stacking. I love it that Veritas Files said that, because that's something that I've always known. That's what I love about this game. There's no taxes on it. And if there is taxes, it's at a minimum. And of course, the IRS isn't breathing down your neck when you're trying to trade out of your coins. And there's nothing better than that. Crypto is similar. However, because everything is on the blockchain, it is getting increasingly difficult to get away from the IRS. Whereas in the precious metals market, especially silver, the IRS leaves you alone 110%. And I know that these last years, they have never bugged me with my silver stack. So yes, folks, as always, thank you so much for another episode of Silver Dad Knows. God bless your households. God bless you. And as always, God bless these great United States of America.